All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Everyone Liked That. I don't have a catchy phrase for you, but basically we are a bunch of friends, like to talk about games, get real nerdy with it. My name is Lim. You can call me Lim, you can call me Limmy. I am a big fan of all kinds of games, big fan of the industry, really, really obsessed with my Nintendo Switch 2 right now, and specifically going down to Final Fantasy VII rabbit hole, both the original and the remake. So that's kind of where my focus is these days. How about you, Glitch?
Hi, I'm Glitch Blitch. I like scary games and RPGs, and I'm always in a Final Fantasy VII rabbit hole. My whole life is one.
Very valid. And how about you, Steven?
Yeah.
My name is New Age Retro Steven. I am a big Earthbound fan. I am also a big mean meme machine. And I am also big on my Switch 2 lately, even though I have not been playing it as much as I want to, but I've trying to get into the Final Fantasy VII rabbit hole and some others. So
Join
that
us.
is
Join us.
me.
Yeah, join us both. I keep forgetting you got that. You picked it up as well. So this is going to be fun when you're in it with me, because once you start, it's like, holy shit, it's insane.
That's what I'm worried about. I just know once I start, I am not going anywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost so deep that it's keeping me from playing it as much as I thought I would. Like, I play it in chunks, and then I find I've got to be in the right headspace because I really want to take it in. So it's kind of one of those games, but that's how my brain works. So anyway, a couple topics to today. We're going to start off with Fantasy Critic. For those that don't know, Fantasy Critic is a playoff of fantasy football. It is basically where we all are a publisher, a fictional video game publisher, and we draft games that we think will perform well throughout the year. Performing well means a review score that comes in above a 70, and that is through OpenCritic, which is a combination of critic reviews and user reviews. If it's every point over 70, you get 1 point. Every point over 90, you get 2 points. And so far, the three of us are playing, and then another one of our homies, a compiler. We've had a couple games come in. I'll just read off the top kind of where we're at. Again, for those listening, this is a little tricky because games often move. For example, GTA 6 coming out in the fall, we think. I'm choosing to believe and have drafted it, so November 19th is the release date. If it gets moved, that's no points for me, so it is a little bit of a gamble. Taking a look at the Fantasy Critic, if I could find it on the site. Here we go. So as of right now, we have Blitch leading the way with projected points, 140 points. Two games have come out so far. Dragon Quest VII Reimagined at an 85, that's 15 points, and Neo 3, 15 points as well. Anything that you want to say about either of those games, or anything on your list, or how anything has changed since last week?
I have 3 new games that I picked. I picked up Mixtape, which I thought looked cool. I actually thought it came out this year, but apparently it got delayed. I'm not sure exactly when it takes place, but it looks like the 90s, which is kind of when I came of age. So this game's right up my alley. It's a lot of music, like licensed music, and it's all the stuff I listened to when I appeared to be the age of those kids, like Smashing Pumpkins and Joy Division, Devo, Portishead, Silverchair. So I'm very excited about that. I picked up Persona 4 Revival because
What is
I
that?
love
Has
that
it
game.
Persona 4 come out like 7 times? Like, what is that? What's Revival?
Yeah, so I started with Golden, which was the Vita remake, and now this is, I think, the third remake. Well, I guess that was more of like a port, but this is like they completely rebuilt everything. I watched a preview earlier, and the backgrounds all look different, and the UI looks a little bit more like Persona 5. So it's like a complete remake. Yeah, it looks really cool, and if it's like any of the other remakes that they did, there's going to be a bunch of extra stuff in it too. So that's exciting. Sorry, I don't know if you heard my mysterious stranger ringtone there.
Not really. These filters, like in Discord, do a pretty damn good job. We didn't really hear anything, so you're good.
Okay, good. That's how much of a nerd I am. My ringtone is a Fallout 4
Uh,
mysterious stranger ringtone.
That's
Mine
amazing.
is 007 theme song from N64. So I'm right here with you. It actually went off
And I
when I
think
was visiting a
Steven's.
game store
Oh,
here in
sorry.
Denver the other day,
Yeah,
and a guy behind the counter was like, "Is that 007 on N64?" I was like, "Yep, it is."
that's awesome. I had a guy when I worked at the pet store that would come in with his Fallout hat, and he'd hear my ringtone, and we'd like nod at each other knowingly.
Hell yeah, I love that.
But yeah, And then my third pickup was Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. I saw that at that PlayStation showcase, and it looked kind of like a modern version of Marvel versus Capcom, which I got all up in when I was younger. I used to stay up until 5 a.m. every night playing that with my neighbor, and then go to school not
Amazing.
school, go to work at 7 a.m. in the morning somehow. Back in my 20s when that didn't affect me. I would just die now,
Right.
I'm pretty sure
It's
if I
just
did that.
this is one of those games where I keep hearing the name and I'm just like, what is this? And then I look into it. I'm,
Yeah.
I'm very much not a Marvel person or a fighting game person, so very out of
Oh,
out of my bandwidth. But I'm sure you're all about it. Yeah.
if we started this podcast 20 years ago, I would have said, "Hi, I'm Glitch Blitch, and I love fighting games."
Wow.
Because I was a Street Fighter kid.
Wow.
Like I played Dark Rift, Clay Fighters. I was all
Oh
up in
my God,
everything
Clay
except Mortal
Fighters.
Kombat, which is weird.
Clay Fighters
Yeah,
was
Clay
fucking
Fighters.
a fever dream. Ichabod Clay
Yeah,
or
that
whatever
game
the
was
fuck. Oh
crazy.
my God, that game was
Yeah, the
nuts.
little snowman guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Super Nintendo. Yeah, I like have cursory knowledge of like fighting games, and of course I played Street Fighter 2. I played Clay Fighters. I played some games, but I'd say I've never just been a fighting game person. I think I just have patience for learning, learning how to be good. But
Yeah.
that's dope. We're learning new things about each other every day. I did not know this.
I could I
Uh,
could beat up my sister and not get in trouble.
oh, there you go. Yeah, that's a way to
Yeah.
get out your energy without, actually,
Yeah.
yeah. So, Steven, we'll kind of jump to you here. Sad Boy Entertainment is the name of your publishing company.
That is correct.
Yeah.
We got one game on the board. High on Life 2. I am sad to tell you it's dropped another 2 points since we last talked, sitting at a 75.
Darn.
75 down
Okay.
from a 77. High on Life, of course, was originally from the Rick and Morty people, which I don't understand. I don't know all about where we're at now, but infamously I don't know if you all knew this, but
Justin Roiland.
Justin Roiland has turned out to be a
Yeah.
fucking just creep.
A creep.
He's not part of it anymore, but I understand that the team has carried it on with High on Life 2. I don't know if you
Which
want
is
to
why
talk
I
about
was
that
kind
or
of a
not,
little
but-
bit hopeful about that. Yeah, because I feel like a lot of people like can kind of talk about like just Roiland in general. Like, well, not to talk about him, but when like Rick and Morty went forward with the team, the people that were still making the show happen, people were very supportive of like the team without him, and I was like, you know what? When High on Life originally came out. It was such a talking point. It's like, dude, the gun talks to you, man. Like, and a lot of people were like screaming it. It was a topic. People were screaming it. People were like, watching it on YouTube. So I felt like there was a little bit of like motion behind it. I don't know if the Justin Roiland stuff throttled it or. But
I don't think so. I don't get the feeling. I think people are generally pretty receptive.
yeah,
I'd be curious to listen to a review. High on Life is one of those games where like I've seen it from the outside for so long. I've never played it, anything about it. For those listening,
yeah,
it's a first person shooter where it's very much Rick and Morty comedy energy, where the weapons that you have are talking to you while you're playing. It's very meta, fourth wall breaking, which feels
yeah.
like it'd be right up my alley, just the way it is with Steven and our mutual Earthbound love, which we talk about every episode. But yeah, no, it's you got some points off it, but it looks like it didn't do as
Yeah,
well maybe as hoped.
and that's fine. It was kind of a risky pick, but I was like, you know what? Like, it gets people talking. People are going to want to play it or like see it. It's just one of those things that you got to show your friend it, basically. So that was kind of like my hopes behind there. But no, I have not added any more picks yet. I know I probably will, especially with all the content we just got from the
Yep.
recent state of play.
Yep.
And not only that, but we're expecting a lot more news from Nintendo later this month.
Yeah.
From
27th, 10
not only
days.
from yeah,
Let's go.
oh my gosh, it's
10 days.
10
I'm
days.
let me plug the fuck in. I'm a Pokemon freak over here, so I'm really excited to see 10. I got to tell you, Galactic Racer, that made me feel
Yes.
better. That trailer.
Yeah, it did.
We'll talk
Yeah.
about it later,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I
But
almost bet on it actually.
yeah, it's given
Well, I
real.
betted on that one.
Well, and I also forgot that it's Criterion, former Criterion, so it's Burnout. I didn't really think about that. It's pod racing plus the Burnout devs. I'm like, I played the fuck out of Burnout when I was a kid. I'm like, this actually could be really cool after seeing it again.
Yeah, it's almost like there's evil landlords out there that just want to smoke weed, fill their bellies with diet soda, and play Burnout Revenge on PS2. Oh, sorry, that's a
Doesn't
Smiling Friends
everybody?
episode.
Oh my
That's a
god.
Smiling Friends episode. My apologies.
I that one's over my head, but I believe you. Whatever you're referencing.
We'll watch it later.
Okay. All right. So jumping on to mine. So I drafted Tomodachi Life, which I've now added to the arsenal. I grow increasingly interested in this game. I think it is going to fill the void in my heart that was left behind with New Horizons, Animal Crossing New Horizons. I just went back and played City Folk. I've been kind of playing and watching a lot of retrospectives on YouTube about Animal Crossing and what's changed. And I feel like as great as that game is, and I'm playing it every day, I'm hooked again. It lost a lot of the soul and the weirdness of the original Animal Crossing games. And so I'm hoping that this will kind of fill that. I don't know why. It's like this weird thing, but I'm really excited for it, and I think it will be received well. I think it's already getting a lot of buzz. Also, Reanimal came in, and I am happy to say, nope, I lied. Glitch is absolutely crushing. I thought I had the highest scoring game so far, but Glitch has 285s, so never mind. Reanimal
Sorry.
came out Friday the 13th at 81. Sounds like it's doing really well. It's also $40, so more people are going to get the chance to play it. So who knows? Maybe it could go up throughout the year. Get another point or two. Outside of that, not much else to talk about that we haven't already covered. I played the Monster Hunter Stories 3 a demo, which I have
cool.
also drafted. It ran pretty shitty on the Switch too, which is frustrating because we've got Final Fantasy Remake running flawlessly right now. I understand
And
it runs.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, in Cyberpunk, yeah. My understanding is it plays better docked, but I was a little bit bummed out by that. Kind of curbed my interest a little bit. But Monster Hunter is all over the place. It's on every console. So that's what I got. I'm sure we'll have Compiler on the pod at some point. So I'll just leave the remaining team, Embryonic Darkness, which is run by our friend Compiler. I'll leave that off the list for now. Okay, so transitioning into our main topic for today, the state of play, which I believe, and I think we all are in agreement, was the best showcase I've seen in recent memory. I thought it was more entertaining than the
Yes.
Game Awards. I mean,
Yeah.
quite literally nonstop. Like I went into it just casually. I was playing Animal Crossing, threw it up on the TV, and then I was like pretty quickly not playing anything and watching glued to my screen, which I can't remember the last time I've been like that about a game showcase. So. What I figured I'd do is kind of bump around to some games that I found interesting. If anybody has a game that I don't mention that you want to talk about, or if you want to chime in, by all means, go for it. And I know that also you two want to talk about
Metal
why did
Gear.
Mortal Kombat come to my head? Metal Gear. Let's start with that. Talk about Metal Gear. Y'all are the Metal Gear people. I'm gonna stuff my face while you do that.
Yeah, so the greatest thing is that they announced the Metal Gear Master Collection too. Now, there's been a little bit of doubt about Metal Gear within, the last decade. Obviously, Metal Gear Solid 5 was the last project that Kojima worked on, and even then, he was basically booted from the company. So it's kind of iffy. It was like, do we want to replay Konami Metal Gear? Which,
Yeah.
yes, we're still going to do it. They had some stinkers. They had Metal Gear Survive, which nobody played, and it was just a
Mm-hmm.
bad idea in general. But and then you got Metal Gear Solid Delta, which is a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 in the Unreal Engine, which was kind of weird, but okay. But so the best thing is that at least Metal Gear Solid 1 Master Collection came out, and it gave us a lot of games. It gave us Metal Gear's Solid 1 through 2. It gave us Metal Gear 1 and 2. We even got Snake's Revenge. Anybody remember Snake's Revenge, the unofficial Metal Gear 2? But everyone was kind of scratching their heads of like, well, when are we going to get Metal Gear Solid Master Collection 2, which was just announced. And the greatest thing is that it comes with Metal Gear Solid 4, which for
Mm-hmm.
18 years has been only playable on the PlayStation 3. You cannot rebuy it on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, PC. No, you need to have a physical copy on the PlayStation 3 if your PlayStation 3 still works. So we've got nearly 2 decades of having no other way to play this game, and it's incredible because it is an incredible game. It's the very end of the Solid Snake story, and you can even play it on your Switch and Switch 2, which is amazing. We got Metal Gear Solid 3 on on Switch and Switch 2 before it ever came to freaking PS4 or anything. um what else? We also got Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, which is we got an interesting version
Oh,
of
I
it.
like that one.
Yes, because Peace Walker was originally a PSP exclusive, and it was a great game. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. But there's two versions of the game. There's the PSP version of the game, and then originally they had an HD re-release of the Metal Gear Solid games on both the PS3 and the Xbox 360. So they had a HD re-release of Peace Walker that worked in HD, but it was made for a home console. Now we're getting that specific version for the Master Collection. We're not getting the original PSP version. And then, in accordance to that, we are also getting kind of a funny one. So they originally released a Metal Gear Solid game for Game Boy Color. I believe it was just called Metal Gear Solid for Game Boy Color, but it's been now renamed as Ghost Babel, which has actually been renowned as one of the best 2D Metal Gears. Because a lot of people don't realize that Metal Gear Solid is not the first game. You had Metal Gear 1, and then Metal Gear 2, which were 8-bit, 2D games, and now you have that spin-off of a Ghost Babel. So I'm interested to try Ghost Babel because I have never played that one. And I'm pretty sure I played every single Metal Gear, but that one completely went over my radar. Glitch, do you know any more about that one by chance?
I never played the Game Boy one, but I know that it was supposed to be good. And I
Yeah.
remember reading about it like in my video game magazines and thought some of the people, like the characters seemed pretty cool. But yeah, I'm looking forward to try it finally.
Yeah, and it's just a lot of people just don't realize that Metal Gear started in 2D. Like I mentioned, Snake's Revenge was the American basically the American version of Metal Gear 2 when it was like not official. I actually have the physical cartridge of it. I found it at a thrift store for $6 and I was like, okay, I'll buy Snake's Revenge. But it is really nice and it kind of gets you scratching the head of like what are they going to do for Master Collection 3 because a lot of people who aren't Metal Gear fans at least know Metal Gear Rising. I don't want to jump too far into the future because we don't know where we get that, but we might eventually get like Metal Gear Rising on Switch too. But I just think it's really significant. But there were a lot of great announcements at the State of Play. I think Metal Gear was Solid Collection 2 was one of the best of them, easily one of the most hype. What
Yeah.
else are we excited about? I'm excited for the big chicken game. I want to play as a buff chicken and beat people up, but that's just
I
me.
don't even remember that.
Yeah, this is and thank you for the Metal Gear retrospective. I am so out of my loop, but I need to be have a lot of respect for it, so I appreciate you talking about it. The Project Windless. I have no idea what the hell it is. I mean they showed a lot of it, but I'm just like, what like it's got to be. My guess is that this is in the vein of these Wo Long and Wo Chong games that are like based
Yes.
Oh, I
around
remember now. Yeah.
Chinese mythology. I think there just seems to be a big swell of these games that are doing actually quite well. You're basically a giant chicken man, and it's a big
Yes.
open world game where you're fighting, but then you're also fighting hordes of enemies, kind of like a Hyrule Warriors or the whatever the Warrior series is, in a way. Um, Less janky, more like truly modern open world game. But it takes itself very seriously for having such an insane looking protagonist. I guess the thing I took away from it.
So
There's like no comedy,
it,
you know.
basically what I've been told about this game is that it's based on the bird that drinks tears. It's a Korean. It's based on Korean fantasy novels. Now they've been referred to as like the Korean Lord of the Rings, basically. So there's a lot of lore going behind this. Apparently, this game takes place. I want to say they said it was like 1,500 years before the main events of like the actual story. I don't know too much about it, but apparently there's a huge universe behind this game. It's just for me, I'm just like, oh, cool, buff chicken, haha. But no, there's a lot more behind this, and I'd love to like learn more about this series and because I know nothing about it. But it does look pretty cool. It does look like an actually fun game, and I feel like it's going to introduce a lot of people like us into a world that we didn't know existed, but has been very well established, just like Lord of the Rings, basically.
Yeah, it kind of feels like what's interesting about this direct on the whole is that we have a lot of similar games in terms of open world action. I'm assuming collecting RPG. Like I hate to use this as the template, but the thing that people most gravitate towards like an Assassin's Creed. not that, but like that, right? We have so many of these games during this state of play, and there's kind of something for everyone. Like that game does look interesting, but I'm so like set on Crimson Desert, like that's my mind that
Yeah.
I'm hooked on. But then there's also Beasts of Reincarnation, which is the Game Freak devs, and I've been doing a lot of like digging into that where a lot of people give shit to Game Freak when it's actually the budget they get from Nintendo. A lot of it is what actually throttles what their ability to do. So what I'm also really excited for this game. This is kind of it's kind of interesting because we had the Xbox State of Play, which didn't do a lot for a lot of people. It did everything for me because the top three games for me are actually all going to be day one Game Pass, and Beast of Reincarnation is one of them. Um, I'm excited about it a little bit because when you watch the devs talk about it, you can kind of feel the Pokemon inspiration and what they're doing, and how they're actually like. It feels like a little bit of a softer game in this style of world, even though it is aggressive and you're killing things and stuff like that. So, and I could deep dive on any one of these games, but like I think it's cool that there's like so many of these like open world games that you can kind of latch on to one of them. I don't. It doesn't strike me that that's your style of game typically, Glitch. Is it? Do you like games like that? Is there anything here in that vein that speaks to you?
Sometimes, I forget what that Shadow of the Colossus one was called. Eco? No, not Eco. The one where you had that giant monster guy and he'd like help you solve puzzles. I
Oh,
like that game.
when
Uh,
but
it's from the Eco people.
oh, and it's not Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah. No, but it's from them. I don't remember what it was called though. I can
Oh,
look it
and
up
it was
really
on the
quick.
it was on the
But yeah,
direct. You're saying
not typically. The what?
it was in this direct as a new game. So you're saying?
Oh, no, 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 just, like,
Got
a
it. Got it.
game
Got it.
that
Got
was
it.
kinda like
Got
it
it.
that I liked, but yeah, I don't know, I found the Xbox showcase, I wasn't really into it, but it looked a lot better from the PlayStation one, like, I guess they showed more gameplay, like, from the Xbox one, it looked kinda like just this girl and a wolf in this weird, like, sparse world, but it
Mhm.
actually looks a lot better, I think, from the newest video,
Yeah. Yeah. No,
but
I
yeah.
agree. I think it's gonna be pretty cool and yeah, we kind of have like I don't know. Yeah, it's there's a lot of stuff. I'm glad that it wasn't all games like that though. I mean, we've got other things too. We've got shooters. We've got new Castlevania game. We got to see Control Resonant. You want to talk about
Oh,
that?
that I'm excited about.
Let's talk about Control Resonant. That's your game.
Oh my god, yes. So, I was already excited about it, but I'm even more excited. It seems like you're outside, like, in the first Control, you're just in the oldest house, and that's shifting around, but now you're, like, in New York, and it seems like the world is gonna keep flipping. Like, you mentioned that it was kinda
It
like
gave me yeah,
Inception.
Inception. It gave
I
me that.
hate referring to Inception. I always say Paprika because that's kind of where the Inception people got the idea from. But, yeah, like, it just looks nuts, and I'm excited for Dylan to actually have stuff to do because in the first game, he's just, like, floating and being creepy, but now he's, like, the main character, and I'm very
Mm.
excited to learn more about him
Yeah, yeah. When I say
and kind of his
Inception, I don't
relationship.
necessarily mean the like, the cerebral part of it. I think specifically what made me feel
Yeah.
Inception was the way that the you're I don't know what the word is. You're like shifting, like you're jumping
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
but then turning sideways and standing on a road that's to the right of you. You know what
Yeah,
I
and
mean?
the buildings are sideways, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
man, it looks so cool, and we got to see more of his weapon because in the first Control, you had a gun that gave you, like, cool powers, and then you got, like, gun powers, but now it's, like, this weird pipe that can turn into, like, a giant hammer and, like, turn into different things. I'm really excited about it, and, like, I'm such a Remedy fan at this point, like, I think it's gonna be great. It's like, if I could only play 1 game in the next year, it would be Control.
I love
Yeah,
it.
really excited.
Yeah, but does the gun talk to you and make jokes?
No, but there is a group of people called the Board that talk to you, and, they talk really weird, and they may be aliens. Uh,
Maybe
it's really
aliens.
weird. Yeah, so, like, they talk so strange, like, they're like, uh, the phone slash, device, like, they talk in, like, weird double speak. So, like, it's half, like, old-timey, half current, like, it's just so weird. Like, I love it. I like, the whole game is just so great. Like, it's hilarious. It's, like, like multi-dimension stuff. So it's like really serious, but also like
I
really silly.
I gotta
Like
get
I
on.
love it.
I gotta get
Like
on my shit. I'm the liminal space guy over here, and I just like haven't played like.
yeah, no, you have to play
I
it. Like
know.
I
I
literally
know.
went into a bathroom and then suddenly I'm in the astral plane and there are all these like lucky cat statues that you have to like
What?
find. Like it's so weird. And then like one of the objects of power that you find is like an x-ray machine and then like a TV and then you get a weird power from it. Like it's so cool.
You know what I'm realizing? I'm realizing this. You're learning how the soup gets made here, people. I'm realizing what I could be doing while we're talking about this is playing these trailers. You know what I'm saying? I could be looking at them.
Yeah.
So we'll remember that for the future. But yeah, I think I am so out of the loop with these games, but I've learned so much from you. And seeing that trailer, I was like, okay, there's something a little bit about the
Yeah.
movement that was bothering me. I don't know why. It felt a little bit stilted or something. I don't remember, but the overall concept of the game and what it's doing, it seems very, very cool. Yeah.
It did take me a minute to get used to how far away the camera is from the
Mm.
character.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
think that might be part of it, but the way that your powers work, it kind of makes sense
Mm.
because you need to be able to like fly around everywhere and have everything still kind of make sense. Like I've been finding a lot of new games, the camera is like way too far back and it kind of bothers me, but this is one of the few games that it doesn't bother me. Like, I don't know. It's just like it's maybe it's like a Bethesda Starfield thing. I think that's where I started noticing it is that
Gotcha.
like when you talk to characters, it doesn't do like a cinematic close up. It's just like the
Uh,
same and they're talking to you and it's like less exciting to me. Like, I don't know. It's just something about the
yeah.
directing
I
that
have a
bothers
I have
me.
a mixed feeling on that because I feel like so many Bethesda games, the character models just look so not real, like and legit. So you'd just be
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
staring at this character like moving their mouth robotically, and that always threw me off. So I don't mind the camera as much,
Yeah.
but I get what you're saying for sure.
They're the faces are like too animated, but not animated enough somehow at the same time. Like it's just so weird.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Um, what? Let me. I was gonna say. So what was I gonna say? Uh, let's talk about. Let's talk about the Star Wars game, Steven. Galactic Racer. I thought that looked really, really good. I was kind of down on this. I was a little not down on it, but people. Star Wars Pod Racer is so fun in N64
And classic.
classic hearts of people, and this is supposed to be a
Yeah.
successor to that. I did not realize that it's the former Burnout dev, so that changed some things for me. But what did you think?
I thought it looked fantastic. So I right off the bat had a lot of hope for it, which is why it was one of my, my bids, one of my bets for Fantasy Critic. I know you guys were kind of like, yeah, it is what it is. But like I was just like, no, this actually looks like a legitimately good racing game. I don't know what it is about recent times, but everybody's just big on racers. I mean, obviously Mario Kart World came out, and then you have a big rivalry behind Mario Kart World and Sonic, and I'm just like, we're like, and you also have Kirby Air Riders. Now, I would think that right now we would be too bloated on racers, but no, it's actually quite the opposite. I think everybody's like really big in all the racing games. Looking back to like, the same time pod racers came out, is that you had also a bunch of racers out. You had a bunch of like the Daytona. You had like your skiing racers. You had everything back then. Any racer had to be like some like late 90s to early 2000s like beach vibe. I don't know what it was, and there was a
Diddy
billion
Kong.
games that were, yeah, there was a billion games like the same. So it kind of surprised myself that we're not oversaturated with racers now. The first trailer kind of did it for me, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bet on this because this actually looks like a lot of fun. I think this is a trend that people will be going on. And that last trailer, oh my goodness, that last trailer kind of blew it out of the
Yeah,
water.
it did.
And now
I'm
I'm a
actually
lot
sharing
more
it. I'm
confident.
sharing it now in the
It won
Discord
me
if
over.
y'all want to watch along because I'm actually playing footage now
Oh yeah, sure.
for us. But yeah, no, I gotta tell you, I wasn't. The idea of it sounds incredible. I'm like, how many
Yeah.
times do we get these IP based games that just like don't. You know what I mean? And I just like, and people are so. I think about when it's being like, I guess I'm thinking about it from a fantasy critic perspective. I need to stop doing that, but it just like, I yeah, I don't know. This trailer sold me though. I'm a believer. I think the way it looks, the way it runs, it
Yeah.
reminds me of Burnout Revenge, which is what I played the shit out of that on PS2. A lot of people are fond of Burnout 3. I was a Revenge Burnout Revenge because you could actually hit people from behind and not your car wouldn't
Yeah.
crash. So you could actually like take out other cars. This feels very much in the spirit of Burnout Revenge to me, which is like
It just looks fun.
music to my ears. And then the fact that at the end they tease an actual pod race. I bet you they're gonna like that was like okay, so
Yeah.
they're gonna put like OG pod racing in there too. That's a big deal.
And people, including you, were iffy on that. They're like, oh, but it's not going to be like a traditional pod racing
Yeah.
and all that. But no, it's actually, yeah, it actually is going to be doing
It
that.
seems like they were
Um,
smart and they knew that people would be like, ugh, pod racing.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
feel like it looks cinematic enough. I feel like the sound onto everything sounds really good. I just think this is going to be a
It
banger. And
looks
like, this
ar-
is kind of like what,
it looks arcadey. We haven't had an arcade racer
yeah,
in a while, right? Because
yeah.
like even
Yeah.
Horizon 6, which it's one of my games of the year. I'm stoked on. That's still more of an open world game than it is a arcade racer. You know what I mean? It's not the same. Like this feels like Burnout, and I miss those days of like Burnout. You know, just like an arcade. Like it seems like it's like 3 laps, get ahead, take out your opponents. Whatever. It just feels right.
And I just feel like this is going to be a heater. And it really goes to show like how, this was a very like unique state of play because obviously any kind of state of play, direct Xbox showcase, you're gonna have like, okay, that's cool, all right, and then you're gonna have your stinkers, your ads, you're like, oh great, I don't know who this appeals to, but like it's really kind of proved that every single trailer we got was just like, freaking cool. And even if we had some doubts about something, like it just kind of blew it out of the water, just like with this game.
100%.
But no, I'm actually very positive for this game. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just pick this game up. Honestly, I think I'm gonna enjoy it a lot. But yeah, and
Is this gonna
let's
be?
see
What's this
here.
out for? Is this gonna hit like other consoles or is it just PS5? Do we know? Like what? Let me.
I believe it was just PS5. Let me take a quick look.
Galactic Racer release. Here, I
I,
got.
I really don't think it's gonna release on anything else. Maybe Xbox.
Uh,
Unless
PS5,
maybe they want to
Xbox,
give
and
us.
and PC via Steam.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's going to release, it's not coming to Nintendo. Maybe they'll be nice and give us the Game Boy Color version of it, like Snake
It
did. But
still is such a
no,
shame that we're not getting like day and date parity with like Switch 2. Like I'm like I don't know. I thought we'd be there, but that's okay.
Yeah, but you want the game to work. You don't want
Yeah,
them to
but like it
rush
sh-
it,
it
right?
should
yeah.
it should work. Like I'm just like we've got I don't know. I guess yeah. It's always Swi Nintendo's always a generation behind, so it makes sense. We'll get it eventually. Anyway,
Yeah.
And not only that, traditionally with Nintendo hardware, the way that they have their hardware set up, you can't just like
right,
transfer over a game or basically copy paste. You have to retool it, you reconfigure it in
100%.
order for it to work on a Nintendo
And that's why
console. So
FF7 remake and Cyberpunk work so well. Like even watching it, like I was playing it the other day, you can
yeah,
see like you're in the bar and all the bottles kind of look like shit, but you wouldn't notice that really. Like they specifically went in and were like, what can we do to hide stuff
Mhm.
intentionally? You have to go through with a very intentional brush, and I think that's why games that do come out day and date usually don't run well. Like the Monster Hunter 3, like there was not that level of intention with it. You can tell. So yeah, totally, totally.
Yeah, so all games on Nintendo have to be optimized in a certain way. It's just really the case of like if the developers are going to optimize it right, or if they have the resources or time or even budget to do so. So we're not saying that, if it doesn't release on Nintendo right away, it could release down the line, which is also the cooler thing too. Yeah, like you can play it on your console at home at first, but give it some time. Maybe you can play it on the go, which is kind of the appeal to it. Um, I do kind of want to talk about some other games from the state of
Yeah.
play.
Go for it.
One thing I don't know you guys' opinion on. What is our take on that John Wick game?
Oh,
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah,
so
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be good. I feel like that was a really early video, so at first I was kind of like, "Oh, Keanu Reeves looks kind of weird," but I'm sure they're gonna tighten all that up and all the graphics and stuff. Like the
yeah.
gameplay itself looks like it's gonna be really
I got
fun.
I got to enter my
I feel
age
like
in
it's
order
gonna
to see
be
this.
what?
In order to watch the trailer, I have to enter my age. Sorry, I thought that was interesting.
Oh, well, it's very
um,
violent.
yeah, very violent. My biggest thing is that I might potentially want to bid on this game. However, I think it looks really cool. I think it's very John Wick, it's very Hollywood, it's very action based, but I want to see an actual like gameplay trailer. I want to see like somebody actually playing the game because like a time and time again we could see a trailer that looks very cinematic, very cool, but when it comes to the actual gameplay, it could be completely different. Now I'm hopeful for this game because I would love to play a fucking John Wick game. You know, I would love
I
to
got a
play as John Wick.
I got a hot take
I'm
for you.
sorry?
I got a hot take for you. This is what I want James
Do it.
Bond to be. See what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I was actually going to
Oh,
say
This
that's
that
a great
this
earlier.
point.
I
feels
feel like
That's a
this
this
great
feels
is the
point.
this
Hitman type
feels
game that it should have been.
100%. This feels more James Bond to me than
Yes.
the James Bond game that's coming out. Like this is what I
So I
want.
We
actually
got
said something to
oh wow.
Steven that
Oh
I
yeah.
feel like the James Bond game, they're trying to what was that Jedi game that was kind of like Dark Souls? I forget what it's called now, and it had that Cal Kestis. I feel like they're trying to Cal Kestify James Bond with that game. Like he's young and it's kind of weird, but it seems like they made him Cal Kestis-y, and I feel like it's not gonna hit, at least not for me, but I'm 40, so who knows? I'm probably out of touch. I
I
barely understand what 6-7 is.
yeah. I mean, I barely understand what 6-7 is. I don't think
Yeah,
anybody knows. I think that's the point. I,
the only thing that sucks about the John Wick game is that Lance Reddick isn't around anymore. Like he died that because he was such a big part of John Wick for me. Like it really sucks, but I feel like a lot of games have been affected by him dying, like Destiny and Horizon. Like I don't know.
was
I
that
feel like a lot
fill
of
me fill
games.
me in. I'm out of the loop. Who is this?
He was one of the guys in John Wick. He was kind of like the assistancy guy
Oh, okay.
to what was his name from Deadwood? I can't remember his name,
Oh,
but yeah.
yeah, I started watching that recently. Yeah, I'm actually pretty out of the loop with John Wick. I've seen some scenes. I know some of the, the more famous scenes or whatever, but I haven't really watched the movies in depth as much as I would like. But yeah, that's my kind of hot take of this. Is I think it looks great. I think it's good to have an actual solid like action game. We get a lot of these games that are like stealth action or action adventure or open world action, but we don't get a
Yeah.
lot of just like action games. And yeah, I think why I'm down on First Light is like I don't want it. It feels very much like the character is supposed to be a template for you. Like they're supposed to be allow you to feel like you can play James Bond without the character being too much of any one thing. And that I don't know. I think it's cooler to play a real actualized character. And I kind of feel like that's what I'm feeling from John Wick here. Is like it feels
Yeah,
very
and like
action.
with the James Bond game, this is like when he's like starting out as Bond. Like
Yeah,
he's experienced, but he's fresh new. They're barely starting the the
they're
double
doing
O
the God of War
agents.
thing.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
God of War
Now
game is also before he was a god. It
I
seems
do
to
want
be
to
the
touch
trend.
I do want to touch on that, but I think it's also crazy the fact that like yeah, if we look at it 2026, we're really pitting John Wick against James Bond. That's actually kind of
And I
incredible.
think
Like I
John Wick's
really
going
want
to
to see how
win.
this plays
I
out.
think John Wick's going to win
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
I do not
yeah.
I think John Wick is going to sell leagues more. It's just if it comes
Well,
out.
plus
If it comes out, we
I
don't
feel
know.
like James Bond as an IP is kind of dated because it was all
Agreed.
about the gadgets and all the gadgets. I can just go buy those gadgets now. Like they're not like fantasy anymore. But like John Wick is cool and it's current and I don't know.
Yeah. Actually, I think that's a fantastic point. I think yeah, it's more relevant, more current. Gosh, I really want to see how this plays out, honestly.
Yeah.
Like what time period does the James Bond game take place in? Is it
I think it's
modern, just
modern.
like he's younger?
I think it's
Yeah, see,
modern.
I feel like it would be more fun if it was like in the
Agreed.
70s or
I think there's
something.
so
I don't
much
know.
more cool stuff that they could do with James Bond, and I just feel like this like slower stealth action game with like a main character that I don't really give a shit about. It just doesn't feel like the
Yeah,
right formula. It feels more to me like the Hitman people were like, here's this like in-depth DLC. It doesn't feel I don't know.
here's a James Bond skin of Hitman.
Yeah. Like it doesn't feel it doesn't I don't know. It doesn't feel like what I'm looking for in that. But okay, let's talk about Kena Scars of Cosmora. So Kena Bridge of Spirits is a game I've heard about a million times. I don't know much about it, and I have watched a little bit of it just to kind of see. This game looks amazing. It really impressed me. I really, really like it. It's Unreal Engine 5, so it definitely has the kind of Fortnite, look unfortunately, which I know can get kind of like a lot of people complain about Unreal Engine 5 starting to really make a lot of certain kinds of animation look samey.
Yeah, they all look the same. Yeah.
But the voice acting, the things it's trying to do, it's channeling almost like a modern like Jack and Daxter for me, combined with like I don't even know, like maybe a little bit of Horizon almost. I don't know. It's doing some cool things
Yeah.
that landed for me in a way I wasn't expecting. I didn't even know about this game going into it. I don't think anybody did.
I feel like it's kind of competing with that Game Freak game. Oh, I just remembered what I was trying to compare it to, the Last Guardian. That's what I was trying to think of.
Oh, okay. I
But
don't know much
yeah.
about that one. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It just reminded me of
I
it a
don't feel
little.
like this feels like Beast and Reincarnation at all. I feel like Beast and Reincarnation feels a lot more like an Assassin's Creed like or a Ghost of
Okay.
Yotei like or a this feels to me more like a real action adventure game. It feels like it's going to be like a linear story based action game to me. And I just think that I could be wrong, and I'm even reading the description as I go, but I just feel like one of the things I think has been the most annoying part of modern gaming is like we just lost the plot on making these games so dense and like unfocused. You know, it's like you make a
Yeah,
game that's about a certain
the
thing,
Ubisoft
but
thing.
there's so much shit going on around it to try and eat up your time. Like I miss having these just like
Go collect 100 feathers for
yeah,
no
it's
reason.
cool to have some of that in there, right? Like it's cool to have some of that. But I miss that kind of like PS2 era of like Sly Cooper and Jack and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank, and this feels more like it's slotting into that than it feels like it's slotting into like a BC Reincarnation or a Project Windless or a, you know,
Okay.
to me. And
To be fair, I've never played any of those games, so
my understanding is that's kind of what this is. I just like it. I think it
yeah.
looks gorgeous. I
To me,
will.
I just thought girl, cool wolf creature
Yeah, like do you see how it play? Look at
adventure.
how it
So
plays. It
yeah,
feels very.
yeah. No, it looks really
It
cool.
feels in the spirit of those kind of games, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
If it's like Horizon, I'll probably enjoy it. I really enjoyed the Horizon.
yeah, it feels a little more in that vein. And from what I understand, the story of the first one really captivated people. Like people really, really were high on the first game, and they didn't think that
Yeah.
this game was like it was a true indie game. They didn't think it was going to get a second shot. So the fact that it got it, I think that's really cool. Um, just want to touch on that because it was like a unexpected standout for me. I had nothing. I knew nothing but going into these games. So um, cool. Anything else that stuck out to anybody that you want to talk about? I mean, I figure we got to talk about God of War at some point here.
Well, I was just going to bring up God of War.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the animation looked
let's talk
amazing
about
for it
that.
being pixels, but I'm not really interested in playing it. But as an artist, I feel like they did something really cool there.
Yeah, I like the fact that they're re-releasing the first three God of Wars because I distinctly remember going to a friend's house, them playing the intro to God of War 3, and I was blown away. I was like, what am I looking at? How could a game look and sound this good? I like the fact that they're getting TC Carson back to voice Kratos. I love Christopher Judge to death. I think they're both
I
great.
got to talk about
Oh,
like this dude channels like what's his name?
he
The
was kind of chaotic.
Jeff Goldblum. He's like a black Jeff Goldblum.
Oh
I'm
yes,
sorry. He channels it
yes, yeah.
so much in this trailer. Sorry, I'm trying to find it because I also want to talk about the Sons of Sparta that actually is out and has been reviewed, so I could mention a little bit what that's coming in at. But just to focus on the trilogy, for anybody who didn't watch, they're remaking the original trilogy, which is definitely
Yeah.
a choice. Um,
Yeah, new generation's gonna feel awkward when their parents
I
walk in on certain scenes.
I there a gap in my knowledge. Like I didn't play the original God of
Oh
Wars,
my god.
but like I kind of am just like I don't know. It's a weird choice to do this. I get it, but like to present it this way and have it be such a large remake, I think it would have been better to just kind of like not remaster, but just like not make such big fanfare of it.
Rebuild it
I'd
with the
rather know
story,
what's the
I
next
think.
God of War coming out or a new project from the
Well,
studio. You know,
you got to realize they're coming out with the God of Weird, God of War live action
God of
TV
weird.
show.
God
Yeah,
of
God of Weird.
Weird.
That's my show, God of Weird.
Yeah,
No, but they're
I'd
coming out
watch
with a live
them.
action God of War TV show. I believe it's on Amazon, which has already been doing pretty good
They are,
with
yeah.
their IPs. And I feel like the reason they're re-releasing this is to kind of tie in with each other and make God of War pretty
Like
relevant and a talking point.
look at this guy, look at this
Yeah, you know
Goldblum.
what? Now that you said that,
Even
I
just his
totally see it.
mannerisms without you being able to hear it. Like this dude is
Yeah.
channeling Jeff Goldblum so hard. And then if you listen to him, the way he's talking, like he's so silly and goofy. I just was so I thought it was so funny, but yeah, no, and actually, this is a good thing to talk. Like, look at, are you for real? Like, it's so Jeff Goldblum. Um,
Your essence captured them.
Yep. Anyway,
And
this was actually a bit of controversy. I forgot to bring this up. Podcast creator I listen to, shout out Kind of Funny Games. They the people are all bent out of shape because they're like, well, where's the next God of War? I didn't realize, I forgot to mention they're working on that. So
yeah,
Sons of Sparta actually was a completely different team, and they made it's more to like. This is a bad comparison, but it's more to like Super Mario Bros. 2 not being actually Mario, but a reskin something else. Not that bad, but it's more that. Like, it was a game that they had in mind that they then used with God of War, and they wanted to do that as something as a shadow drop to kind of give to people. I think the one mistake they made here with that in this direct is that because they didn't tell us about the next actual God of War, I think people got
Disappointed.
really disappointed and fired up on this game. Like, I think this game probably definitely lost a couple review points because of people being upset, and I don't think that's fair to that game. Like, this, I think that was meant to be a cherry on top of a great direct, and I think unfortunately people took that as being like, here's your God of War, this is what you're getting, and people don't realize, like, you have a remake team and you have a team working on the actual game, and then this other thing is actually a completely different team that's not Santa Monica. Whatever the team is. So anyway, I just want to say that. And then, yeah, they have the show, and the show is being received very well, and the people acting in the show are actual OG God of War fans. Like, they're doing it the right way, I think. It just got lost.
I think it was really smart of them to do a re-release of the first 3 games.
Yeah.
Is what Bethesda should have done and didn't do. They should have done the Fallout 3 and New Vegas remasters instead of making us wait after getting all these new people excited about the show. Like, by the time the God of War show comes out, people can play all the old games, like, remastered. And it's what Bethesda should have done, so I got to give them props for that, for actually being smart.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
we talk about how we see TC Carson on the state of play, and everyone's just like, yeah, yeah. But the millisecond that you saw Todd Howard and then Nintendo Direct, everyone's just like,
yeah.
Every time I see Todd Howard, I'm like,
well, we're over it. We're over it.
He's no longer God Howard as he used to be called.
We're milking it too much. It's ready for the new guard, and I think there's a little bit of this. Like, it's weird for me from the outside because, like, I have never played any of the God of Wars really. I played the first one for a little bit. Like, I understand the presentation of the original PS2 one. I get it, but like, seeing these new God of Wars, I still haven't played them, but from what I've seen, like, it has been painful for me to not have played them. Like, there's a draw to them. They feel like they're telling a really deep, intense story. Like, I want to play them. I think what's confusing to me is I'm almost a little bit like, do we need to remake these old games because they've already diverged from the story of that original trilogy? So to me, as somebody who's like not really didn't grow up with the franchise, it's more confusing to me, if I'm being honest.
Totally did. I even had a God of War at PlayStation 3.
But I guess they're not for me. I mean, they're for the people that grew up with them. I guess I'm just kind of like,
I really hope they make some changes because, like, the active what was that called when you press buttons to the time? It had a name, but it's not in style anymore. I hope they change
quick time events.
Yeah, the quick time events. Yeah, I really hope they change that stuff. And also those sex scene quick time events were weird.
Yeah,
I don't think they're gonna hit.
Well, they're probably gonna change those.
I hope they do because it was super awkward for me having my mom be like, "Oh, it's time for dinner," and I'm like, "Hold on, I'm not done making sex noises."
It's juvenile for sure. It definitely was going. Yeah. It was product of the time, and they'll change that. I feel like they will. Just to make it.
I hope they do, especially people who have only played the new games. Like, going back, it's gonna be like, "What is this? Like, what the heck?" Like, it was very 90s, like, comedy type stuff.
Sure.
Like the gross out movie humor.
100%.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get that. And then they shadow dropped this Sons of Sparta, which it was actually the most underwhelming thing for me. I think the bummer about it is just, for me, I get what it's doing and what it's offering. The art style to me feels very mobile game. I don't know why. I don't like the way it moves, and it feels.
I get that.
It feels less than.
Yeah.
I almost think it would have been better to do this first and then be the final reveal of the remakes instead of end on this. I think ending on this was the only knock I would give probably the whole thing.
Well, it's like making a prequel to the Titanic. I know what's gonna happen. It's not really exciting. There's no like
Right.
I don't know, there's no tension. It's like I know like was it gonna end with him murdering his first wife? Like whoop-de-doo. I know that happens. Like
Or what
he's
they
not
could have
gonna
done,
die.
what they could have done is we're remaking the games. Here's our show. Be sure to check out our show. We're working on the next big God of War. And as a final treat for
Mhm.
you, here's a game released today that we did in partnership with a different studio. Like, I think they just need to be more clear about the broader vision of the whole thing, because
Yeah.
I think it
Yeah.
left it a little bit confusing, and then especially confusing for someone like me who has wanted to enter in on the God of War series and still hasn't. Now I'm a little bit like, well, where do I start? So
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
it's
Yeah. A
definitely
little
confused.
overwhelmed.
It's confused me. I think because I thought that the original trilogy was kind of just a product of that time, and they had chosen to completely change what they're doing with God of War. And this seems to be so widely received, this new God of War. I was like, okay, cool. This is where we're at with God of War. I'm going to kind of let those old God of Wars be where they are. But now that they're being remastered, to me, I'm like, okay, so there really is some relevance here to these old God of Wars. I probably should play those too. And now I'm kind of like, where do I start as somebody who cares about the games industry, right? So that's obviously a unique perspective. I'm probably a smaller percentage of people, but yeah, I don't know. It was a little confusing to me. So as we kind of round out things here, because duty calls, and I do have to go back to work, unfortunately. I've got about another 10 if we want to round things out. But there were a couple quick ones I wanted to call out. First Castlevania in 12 years. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
I'm excited about that.
By the
Yeah, I'm
people
very
that
excited
made,
about that.
I didn't know this, by the people that made, oh, fuck, what was that game? It's another 2D side scroller that did really well. I'll find it. But what did y'all think of this? I mean, the art style is different, for
I
sure.
liked it. I think it
Yeah, I
was a
liked
good
it.
update, and the backgrounds, like especially after the anime, I feel like a lot of people are going to be
Yeah.
coming into Castlevania from the anime. I feel like it fits in really well style-wise with the old games and the anime. So it's kind of a nice blend of styles for me.
Dead Cells. These are the Dead Cells devs.
Oh,
People
okay, cool.
loved Dead
Yeah.
Cells. They were very very high on Dead Cells. Big for like the Switch and just like handheld kind of Metroidvanias. So I cannot see this doing poorly in any way. I mean,
Yeah.
this is great.
It's also cool to see a Trevor-led Castlevania because everybody knew Trevor. If you weren't a Castlevania fan prior, if you
Never.
watched the anime, Trevor was like the main one, and I think it was I think there's a lot of respect to Trevor, and I feel like that's going to be a really cool one. But yeah, I'm interested in it. We've seen a lot of like Castlevania spin-offs from like similar devs. What was the other one? Like Bloodstained, I believe. Is that the one a lot of people gravitated to? I'd have to ask one of my good friends who's a huge Castlevania fan. In fact, one of my closest friends, he actually named his son Simon after Simon from
Oh, cool.
Castlevania. Um, but yeah, no, I'd have to ask him about that. But yeah, I think it looks really cool. I enjoy Castlevania games, but I'm gonna admit I suck at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too, kind of. But I like them.
Um, yeah, and I like them. Like Super Castlevania on Super Nintendo. I know diehard fans, OGs, are like, oh, that one isn't as hard. No, I struggle with that one, but I love it too. I love the aesthetic. I love the gameplay. I love the music. So I'm excited to see a new mainline Castlevania game. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, again, Castlevania series that's generally eluded me. I have a historical patience problem, and going back and forth and backtracking and finding things, and I don't know. It's never been my cup of tea. I think this is the kind of game I'm going to age into it. I think as I get older and chill out a little bit
It's
more.
like Hollow Knight. If you don't play it for a week or two, it's like I have no idea where I was, and I kind of just need
Yeah,
to start over.
yeah. So, but I think it looks gorgeous, and like
Yeah.
this is a game where it's like the opposite of the Sons of Sparta. This is
Yeah, I was
like
gonna say
really
this is like
inspired.
modern
Yeah.
version of that.
This is like a really
Um,
inspired art style and, a really successful team. And I feel like they're not going to do more than they need to make it great. Like, I think this is going to be great. 100%.
One quick one I want to throw out there, just because it got my
Yep.
interest, is the well, it kind of got leaked beforehand, and there was a lot of speculation, but I'm excited for the 30th anniversary of
I
Rayman.
was
I know we're
curious.
talking about 30th
Oh yeah.
anniversary, yeah.
Why
Um,
did I think you had, because I have no, Rayman hasn't done anything for me, but I had a feeling, I was like, Steven probably has some shit to say about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll make it quick because I can go into a deep dive, but I love the Rayman franchise. I think when they rebooted Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends, those are two of my favorite games of all time. And if you don't know it, they're one of the most beautiful games because every single anything, asset, animation is all hand drawn, kind of like Cuphead. It's just digitally
Okay, I didn't
colored and
know
all
that.
that,
That's
and
great.
like all the music is very orchestral now. But those games take their inspiration from the very first Rayman that came out in the mid '90s. There is a billion different versions of the same game, and I was excited to see that they're actually just including the vast majority of different versions. You have like the Sega version, the PS5 version, the PC version, multiple handheld versions. But which I won't talk about tonight is they actually got the original creator Michel Ancel from Ubisoft. I can never say it right. Montpellier, something like that. It's based in France, but he's been a very controversial figure. Now he has done an excellent job of creating the Rayman series. Getting it into like the actual direction that it is, and it's an amazing franchise. Most people know the Rabbits, even though that was just a spinoff, which turned into its own thing.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
it's a beautiful franchise, very artful. But they got him to like come back and make commentary. Now he was basically unconfirmed, but basically ousted for Ubisoft for bad management. I don't know what exactly happened there. So it is nice to see him, but I don't know the full story. But
Okay.
just to wrap it up, it's nice to see the original Rayman's coming back, and I
Yeah.
do want to see that franchise go forward. So
I
that's
think I think these
nice.
collections are great too. I think we need to keep doing these, putting time and attention into these collections of games. It's a
Yeah.
it's a trend that has continued, and I'm really liking it. I just as long as it's
Well, it's
appropriately
nice that it's
priced
not
and
going to be lost media.
yeah, exactly. From a preservation perspective, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I want to round us out on two horror games. We'll end with Requiem because I know Glitch and I
That's
are both particularly excited for this.
I
But I,
pre-ordered
I
it.
wanted to shout out Silent Hill Townfall. I have never played a Silent Hill game.
Yes.
Silent Hill has been on my radar forever. I cannot believe how quickly they are pumping these games out. But
Yeah.
man, this hooked me probably more than anything new out of it. I don't know why. Something about the atmosphere, the character, the voice acting, all of it. It came together in a way where I'm like highly intrigued by this.
Well,
Um,
it's being published by Annapurna, and like the fact that Annapurna is doing a Silent Hill game kind of
yeah,
blows my
which means it's gonna
mind.
be
Because
very, very story focused, which I think is great.
yeah, I'm a huge Annapurna fan. I love their games. I love their movies. They're always so unique, and they always have like a unique ending. Like the cut to credits always catches you off. I mean, heck, they published Stray, man. Come on, that's one
Yeah.
of my favorite
Mixtape
games
is
ever.
also in a print.
But
That applied to a
yeah,
horror game is going to be really cool. Like
Hmm.
this felt so cinematic to me. It made me feel. I also think the setting of being. It feels kind of like a. I love the setting of like a nautical kind of like a northeast.
Oh,
It's like a Nova Scotia
that
kind of
part
yeah.
town. I
with the
love that.
sign, the Saint Amelia, and then you thought I was gonna say Silent Hill, and then your little
Yeah.
thing came off,
And
and
then
it
it
was like,
was
it's
Silent
not
Hill.
Silent
And
Hill.
then it was, yeah.
Yeah.
There's some real intention put into this in a way that has me crazy intrigued. Like I'm like, this might be my entry into Silent Hill, actually,
It's
which is
got like
which is great.
Walking Dead Telltale vibes that I enjoyed.
Yeah,
I can see that.
it's
Yeah. Except like, more sophisticated, obviously.
but even I think pretty soon here it'll play because I'm sharing some of the footage. I think it actually does show gameplay and actual like fighting, people or creatures or whatever it's going to be, and even that looked great. Like look at this. You're
Oh
walking
yeah,
with this
the
like,
new version of Pyramid Head looked really cool.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, this was so unexpected and just like so like I was just yeah I was like totally captivated the whole time just watching it frame by frame being like okay this is what I'm talking about. Just feels very inspired. Yeah, look at
Yeah,
this.
that thing. Yeah.
Crazy. It almost feels
I'm
like
really curious.
a lot of
Sorry.
no, you're okay. It feels like a lot of paranormal investigation. It almost feels a little bit like it's leaning a little
Yeah.
bit on your people, the Resonant Control Resonant people, that the other game that they do.
Oh yeah, yeah, a
Um,
little bit. Yeah.
what's the other game?
There's always so much
The horror.
lore with all the creatures in Silent Hill 2. I'm really curious what his specific trauma is going to be and why all the creatures look the way that they do.
Yes, Alan Wake. That's what I was trying to say. It almost feels a little Alan Wake
Oh,
coded
yes.
too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
Yep.
I'm stoked for that. Okay, well with the time we have left, let's just talk. I know there's a couple games we didn't touch on, but by and large, I think we covered a lot of it. We don't. I mean, we've talked about this a ton, but I just continue to be so impressed by Capcom and Resident Evil Requiem. Like I kind of feel like this is like a
Mhm.
masterclass in how you just put out a game. Like every single showcase it's in reveals something new, you know? And like
Yeah.
I feel like the way they're crafting their trailers, like a lot of people put together a trailer and then that'll just be replayed over and over and over again up until a game comes out, and they just keep doing this new shit that just continues to make me more excited. Like I'm just like,
Yeah, and
fuck
it
man.
looks like Leon is infected by something. Like I was really curious about that because they're like, "How much time do we have left?" And then we saw his arm, and he had some weird like jazz on his
You're
arm.
right. I kind of like
So
didn't
like
clock
I'm
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, is he on some kind of time limit? Is he like gonna mutate into something? Like, what's going on? Is he looking for a cure? What's the deal? And I feel like they've really mastered what Resident Evil is about. I feel like they kind of started losing their way with 5 and 6. Like 6 is just a Michael Bay movie. I didn't even
Yeah.
finish it. And then 7 was like so cool, and 8 was interesting in a Resident Evil 4 kind
Well,
of
and all the
way.
remakes, like
And now,
it kind of feels like all
yeah,
these remakes have almost led them, like it kind of, because if you think about it, they remade two, they remade three, they remade four, and
yeah.
so it feels a little bit like this is the converging of like these remake styles that they've done and
Yeah,
these new
the best of
games.
every game is
Correct.
gonna be in this, I feel.
Yeah.
It's, like, got the best parts of 8, the best parts of 7, the best parts of
Yes.
4. Like, I feel like they really figured out what Resident Evil is because it feels like they got confused for a little while.
Yes. Agreed. Agreed. Yeah. I This comes out in 10 days. 10 days. This comes out on Pokemon Day. So I'm gonna be playing Resident
Oh
Evil
my
and
goodness.
listening to Pokemon. Very, it's like
It's funny, I'm
Doom
gonna be
Animal
at a
Crossing all
comedy
over again.
show.
Yeah,
Doom Eternal Animal Crossing.
yeah,
That was
right,
me.
right. Well, cool. Well, this was great. Again, everybody, thank you for listening in to a couple friends jabbering about games. We love this stuff and definitely enjoy doing this. Gonna kind of get a more consistent cadence of releases and get stuff out there. But we'll be back, next week. Anything else anybody else wants to say?
I am excited. I just bought a game called Ludo, so it's like a horror game, and apparently it's kind of like a successor to the PT demo, so I'm really looking
Ooh.
forward to that.
Oh wow.
It's kind of like one of those like looping scary games like PT. So hopefully, I think I'm probably going to be talking about that next week.
Yeah, very
So
nice. Yeah,
yeah,
and
that's
don't
what.
forget to plug anything anybody's doing. Glitch streams and plays playthroughs of games, and is also an artist and does all kinds of stuff. So definitely, please tune in to everything. Is there any links you want to send anybody to, Glitch?
Yeah, the Glitch Blitch on YouTube is where I put all my playthroughs. It's a lot of scary games plus Fallout plus Cyberpunk every so often. So yeah,
Cool.
and I basically do it like pretty much like a playthrough, almost like I'm streaming it, but it's just up as a VOD kind of. So yeah. And
Awesome.
then if you want to check out my art stuff, it's under my civilian name of Seriator on Instagram.
Cool. Yeah,
That's probably about it.
don't make the mistake I made. It's Glitch Blitch, and a little bit of a
Yeah.
play on words. A glitch is a series of glitches. So
Yeah,
it's
a
pretty cool.
glitch blitch. But I did choose the name specifically so that people would have that kind of like the band, the Who type thing
A
where it'd be
conversation
like, oh,
about it.
glitch blitch, like
Yeah.
make it memorable. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's great play on
So
words
I
for sure.
intended for that to happen.
Cool. Anything else you want to add, Steven?
Check out the Glitch Blitch featuring
Oh,
Steven.
yeah,
I
the
did a
Iron
little couple
Lung.
of voiceovers for
Yeah.
Glitch. Um, I am not in the voiceover or acting profession, but I've had a little bit of classes in the past, and I did two voiceovers for two of her videos. It was kind of fun to do. Yeah.
It was great, and thank you so much for doing that for me. The two Iron Lung videos, I had Steven do the intro, and then in the second one, a note that I forgot to find in the first video that I did. So yeah, Thank you so much, Stephen.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in for another episode of Everyone Liked That. I have been, I guess, your host for this episode, Lim. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Take care.